Okay, cool. So, here is what I'm thinking. We have been going, with the idea that, this move is just gonna take us to this area, 5,700 or above that, at least to, at max to 5,786. Right here. That's what I've been talking about since last 2 days, right? And we talked about going long here in the 50-50 area when we were, looking at the demand. It just swept below this 5120 right into 5100, and above 5150 it became bullish, and that's where we were talking about longs. And yesterday was a good day. Now overnight news, China and all that, it's kind of just moving up in the right direction that we expected. Right now the point is what it is. Is it a wave to come to this area here in the zone that we have talked about, another supply zone above this, right? Uh, uh, this one, right, or something else. I think this current wave will at least give us some indication on that, and that's what I want to kind of focus on for this conversation, and watching for next 1 to 2 days, right? So if I go into the shorter time frame, what you would see right now, let me go even smaller. Let's not complicate it too much right now with ES or US 500 right now. Kind of evolve on that. But what I want to see right now is that if you see, we got a very nice 5 wave impulse right here from that 5100 mark right into yesterday's top, and then we had this dip. Right, I was saying that probably this is an A dip B, and maybe we may get a C, but in after hours we actually got move up. That's fine. B can be just right here, and now if you see what we have is again 1 2, probably a 3 4 is in the build, and that's where I mentioned the comment that okay, this gap needs to hold. It can come lower, it can come into this 3 4 4 5, not 3 4 4 5. This level is about 3,400. 3,400. It can come down here and can still bounce to just sweep above this high, which is my top level in the post from yesterday, which is 5,485. Or it can be even smaller. It doesn't have to come all the way into where it opened. It's generally I see as a trend that the gaps are tested like where it opened the same day before the next move happened. Next move happens, and if you see my updates yesterday, last night on the futures channel, was the same thing, that gap opened up, and that gap was tested again. Gap held, and we expected a new high. The same concept here. It comes down here through the day and makes one more high. So this is gonna be like an ABC. So this is one impulse and then another impulse. Just simply considering this as a zigzag. Now we have to validate that, right? So we don't want to go short or anything like that, because the second case that I'll present to you will be much more bullish. From taking a short perspective, let's say. So now, if this comes up to be a zigzag, then I would certainly expect like we had, this particular move as an A, B, and C, as kind of a zigzag here, and then it retraced. So probably we should see a 61% retrace of this zigzag as well, if this is a zigzag, right? And that brings me to the levels like 5250, or closing this gap at 5300, and those are the levels which I mentioned that I would like to see this rollback happen here. And post that, so once this zigzag is complete, we can get another zigzag similar to that, probably another good news of China taking us to 5700, right? So that's a simple corrective move in a WXY format, where you had like ABC, and then you had an ABC dip, and now you are getting another ABC wave up as a Y pattern, right? So 333. So it's a complex retracement to the drop which has happened. The drop which happened was also a three wave, so we are kind of making bunch of three waves here, right? So that's an initial assessment. That's an assessment that we are working with. Now things may change if we do not get this dip. which means instead of this being an ABC, a chance would be that this rally continues, and this is my third wave in progress, right? So if this is my third wave in progress, my count will simply start shifting from this being 1 2 rather than AB, currently being in 3, and that means there will be no push down from this supply. And if I have to measure where the wave 3 goes, it'll be somewhere in the 161% area at least, right? And I would look at getting right into 5600 by tomorrow, or by today's what? Today is Wednesday, right? So yeah, tomorrow or by Friday morning, I should be at 5600, right? And then this supply zone becomes my support, and you get a 5 waves up. After that, what happens? We'll see. How does that fit? Whether this was a fifth truncated, where we have marked it as A and B, as a conversation was going on in the chat. Is it making us getting into the new highs and all that? I'll record more on once we have a confirmation whether this is an ABC or this is an impulse. There is a different way, rather than just being a normal impulse, on how a new all-time high can be achieved, and that is through an ending diagonal as well. Ending diagonal has a zigzag family moves, through its 5 waves within 1 and 4 overlap. So we'll go into that. But what we want to just simply observe right now is that, do we get this dip back into the 52, 50, 5300 area, or this gap which opened up today continues to hold through this week and we get into 5600? My plan still remains the same, that I'm going to close out most of my positions on SPX, LTQQ, SWIX, whatnot, right here into probably GLL as well, right here into 5700. And if this is going to be my, impulse of some sort, making into, much higher highs, or even if it turns into an diagonal, still that's the right place to close, because once this wave finishes, we'll get a retracement back, followed by another one, then a wave four, and then a new high or something like that, right? That's an ending diagonal way of doing things. So plan is still the same. We want to get to 5700 regardless. The thought is just that, how do we get there, and that's gonna give us more indication on what's coming up next for us, right? So that's what I wanted to cover in the call, because it would have been hard to kind of just share it via text in Discord. And if there are any questions, just let me know. Let me just check if there are any comments or questions.
From percentage perspective, the first versus the second option that you gave us, what is your take on that from probability perspective?
Oh, we can't put a number of percentage on this thing. You see the news come in and it just pops, and the news say, oh, it's all fake news, and it drops, right? So it's not a normal market condition, not a normal market structure either. If this was a truncated five, we don't know if this was a truncated five. Everything rolls back. China agrees to, let's say, 10% from US, and China continues to do what it was doing in the past. Everything is good. We'll just get to new high simply, right? It all kind of aligns towards how these things are getting resolved right now. So far, the push is going on, but like I said, it's well within the boundaries of both the cases, and that's why I'm trying to explain what I just did right now, right? So don't try to put a number on it and try to trade with it, but let it have a confirmation. If you are long, you can continue to have a long, and have your trailing stop losses just right below that gap, and which is at 5395, right? Or you just book and let it rally if it rallies, and then you wait for another day to get back again. So we don't have to kind of be in a trade if we are at a supply zone, or build a new trade at a supply zone, right? So these things will evolve over the next few hours, and we just want to make sure that we are on the right side. So let's say, for example, 5400 test happens maybe later in the day, and it holds, right? And if you trade futures or you trade options or you trade ETFs based on what time of the day it happens, and that holds, and if you want to initiate a new long for another high after that, that's pretty much okay, because we know that the gaps are holding, the bull gap is holding, so pretty much, bulls are in control. If bears would have to be take control and make that correction, the first thing they're gonna do is then start sending the price into the gap, and instead of being a support, it's gonna become a resistance. So trade with the levels rather than trying to assign a probability into any of these cases.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Yep. Um, any other question, or this was crystal clear? All right, cool. Sounds good. Thank you very much. This is what I wanted to cover, and if there are any questions, we can chat in the Discord. Thank you.